Do you find yourself swept away by the constant change and turmoil around you? Whether personal or professional, these challenges can keep us from living a life of peace and productivity. I'm Liz Herl, a licensed clinical marriage and family therapist, and I want to show you data-driven strategies to help bring stability and peace to your life. Welcome to the Anchored in Chaos podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Anchored in Chaos. I'm your host, Liz Herl, and I'm here with my co-host today. We're in a little bit of a different location, not in the studio. We are at a Genuine Effort, the gym. Like, we're at the gym.
My facility, yes. My side of the house.
Yes. So we're recording a little differently today.
It is different. We're doing a whole bunch of things different here. We're here because we're going to launch the Genuine Effort website.
Well, we actually have launched it, Dr. Caldwell.
Oh, thanks, Liz.
We're here to actually talk about Genuine Effort, and today is my opportunity to get to interview you.
Yeah.
And you're on the spotlight today.
Yeah.
I know that you enjoy being in the spotlight.
Thanks.
So
Thanks, Liz.
this is actually a great opportunity, honestly, for me to be able to kind of share our journey of how we came together. And then your, I guess, from a long time ago, a very long time ago, back in 1987, the origin.
How old were you in 87?
I was, I didn't tell anybody that. Listeners and viewers will know.
All right.
So I'm like 23.
It's not.
So what we're going to talk about today is Genuine Effort, the gym. And now that it is online, there's an online and in-person coaching training that you can now get involved with. But before we get to that, I want to have the opportunity to get to know everyone, to kind of get to know you a little bit more and how it all started for you back in 1987, but it's actually prior to that, probably in the 20s, but we'll get back to it.
Liz.
So.
Well, Liz, thank you. Yeah, it is. This is a different situation for Liz and I. We're usually in the podcast studio when we do this, and I'm usually your co-host. So I appreciate that you're here. This has kind of been a long time in the making. This gym is 40 years in the making for me, is that I have been a coach, let's say, since 1987. After being released from the U.S. Navy, I had a great time at that. But I started working in a really small gym in Buena Vista, Colorado, called the Fitness Factory. And this old couple who ran the place, it was just a wooden store that had old equipment in it, and I would work out there. And then people started asking me how to do workouts and training, right? And I had already had, I think I'd had 2 contests under my belt. One was in the military. That's where I got started, my first armed forces military training. And then I started working out there. And here I am, maybe 150 pounds and very fit. But people started asking me about training and training advice and training techniques and all that. And for a young man of 23, 24, I might have been 25 then, but it was kind of neat, right? That people would come to me this. And as much as I love bodybuilding, this was exactly what I thought would be a neat career. So it blossomed into doing lectures on dieting, nutrition, understanding macros, which we didn't call them that back then, but it was really just trying to encapsulate that knowledge about how to train well and how to eat well. And that's where I developed my philosophies, Liz, of really just teaching people very simple rules of thumb to live by. And then later on in my career, I went on to get a great deal more schooling, which had included a doctorate degree in chiropractic. That specialized training as a chiropractor helped me be able to help people not just overcome acute and recent injuries, but maybe even chronic, long-standing injuries. Maybe you've been surgically altered by accident or surgery or whatever, but my point has always been, if I can provide you a service, not just chiropractically, but in training, that allows you to get back in the game, have good health, live long, fruitful lives, and not just live a life, but thrive in it too.
We're going to go back a little bit. In previous episodes, we have talked about how we align together in life and how that journey started for us to become business partners.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit, we're going to go over all the great resources online for individuals to use.
Yeah.
And kind of some of the views of pros and cons of that, and saying that, like, how we came together. You were working at the YMCA
That's right.
And I came in very much so against, I'd never utilized a personal trainer before in my life because honestly, of a stereotypical kind of viewpoint, I have utilized apps, do 3 of these, do 4 of those, and I've done that for years,
Yeah.
years and years and years. And here I am midway through my life and had decided that I really wanted to get a hold of my health and really take an evaluation after losing my mother at a young age. For other reasons, I just wanted to make sure I was taking care of myself to the best of my ability. And that's where we met. And we started the training process.
That's right.
And it was great because I obviously have learned significant amount around how the body and the mind and the spirit work.
Mhm.
It's all connected, as we talk about a lot. But and we're going to go into that detailed aspect of, I remember I would get agitated initially when we started training.
Yeah.
When you would tell me to turn on my back or turn on my hamstrings.
Activate this.
I would activate that. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just pushing this down, And you're like, no. And then you would hold on to
Physically
that.
touch.
Yeah, you're holding on to that muscle. And you're like, there. And then it honestly had to correlate mind to muscle.
Yeah.
So that's what that means. So now when we start, any type, I'm much more ready to say, did you turn on your back? I'm like, oh, wait, I have to remember to turn on my back.
Yeah, back's a complicated one. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. The one thing I want to offer that's unique about my training, and especially in my philosophy for training, is that I have been doing this almost 40 years. I think this is my 39th year. I want people to understand it's hard to find good coaches. It's really rare to find good coaches and trainers. I am not tooting my own horn, but I have worked with hundreds of people, which include high-powered celebrities and Olympic athletes. And I don't believe I've ever not given them good service or return on what they came to me for. I'm not Honey Rambod. However, I aspire to be like Honey Rambod. And
like we all know
I give credit to... That's right. Maybe people don't even know who that is, but there are people out there that are just amazing trainers. Charles Poliquin, amazing trainer, one of the most renowned strength and conditioning coaches in the entire world, untouchable. But the one thing I will say that indicates the uniqueness to what I want to do and the message that I want to deliver to people is, you cannot be a good trainer unless you have that person in front of you. I have to see the effort you make. You'll see in the name of my business, it's Genuine Effort. I started that with the very notion that that's all I require from you.
Correct.
Whether you're a beginner or a top-tier athlete, all I need you to do is come through that door and give me a genuine effort. I'll tell you how much. I'll tell you when we dial back. Now, you can bring whatever you want with you, but this is prescriptive on what I see you do. Now, the reason I keep railing about athletes online and seeking training online, I was reluctant to do this. Liz knows this quite well. I've had offers to have online training, do online videos in the past that never really spoke to me, because how can I be a really good trainer or coach if I'm not in the presence of? I've changed my vision on that. And it's not about money. It's the simple fact that if I can get people started, and if you glom at least a little information from me, then I've made at least some impact. My point, though, is that everybody who comes to train me, I want you to strive to come see me. Mm-hmm. That's the way how we're going to benefit from this most. I've had people for 20 some years, and I have always traveled to them. But now that we have this facility here in Newton, Kansas, it's small, but it has everything I need to train people. I've had some 600-pound benchers in here who never got past 80-pound dumbbells with me. And it's the way that I train. It's the way that I push. I give credit to trainers before me who really impacted our industry. Jeff Cavalier, the Mountain Dog. There's some really great trainers out there. Henny Rambod. I always want people to understand that there are people who came before us in training, and there are people who come after us in training. But I really want to provide people with the very best that I can. So that's why we started the service. I hope I answered the question. I kind of going on.
There's a couple of things I would say that if you are a current or a previous, I would say, student of your coaching, you will discover that Dr. Caldwell has a challenging way of counting. reps. And
Oh,
when
counting.
you are in the midst of finishing, you're like, oh, I'm right up to 15 or 20.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, there will be 6 or 8 more that you aren't aware of that was going to count. But yes.
That's why I make the big bucks, right?
So, honestly, that's where actually I was going to, though I joke, but that's that genuine effort that you may see more in your clients than in the moment they see in themselves.
It is.
And I know personally, I'm a little bit more in competition with me. In my mind, I'm almost done. And then you'll, yell out 6 more. And I'm like, oh, hey, so here we go.
Yeah, but why?
But I do push 6
But why? And that's
really more, whatever.
almost the comment that everyone will get is really good training session is one that you've pushed yourself to a point where you didn't think you could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not here to crush people. I'm not here to embarrass people. I'm not here to drive them in the ground. Clients are my calling card.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to see them, ask them, talk to them. Who did that? You're my calling card. I can't have you broken. I can't hurt you. I just can't afford to do that. But more importantly is if I see that in you, I'm going to push that and ask that of you. And you're right. It can be a little irritating when you're tuckered out and the guy goes, come on now, 3 more. Okay, now hold it. Now go slow. Now resist. Now push back, but don't move. All of these things that I ask people to do, they're challenging, but I've never heard anybody say, I ain't coming back.
Well, and I would say how many people have said to you, I wouldn't have done that had you not been here.
That's
or
right.
Pushed me or done anything.
That's right. One of the things I say as a professional trainer is if I had the ability, I would train with a trainer, a really good trainer all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to train with Bard or some of the really great trainers that are out there. Mine is when you walk through the door, I'd love the ability to remove that chip from your brain that would make you afraid, hesitant, reluctant to do those things. And I'll plug that into yours. Now I'm here. Go deeper than you normally do.
Mm-hmm.
Go where you don't typically go. Do more than you would. Really push till you're shaking like a leaf in some cases and sometimes not. But I want you to do that. And when we're all done, I'll give you yours back. I'll take mine. And when we leave here, almost everybody's in kind of of course, the dopamine and endorphins are going. The idea is to train people in their weakest position to make them better in the strongest position.
Well, and I would definitely say in working with you as my training partner now, that I appreciate that so much about you, that even though there are moments that I'm irritated and tired and I don't feel like it.
Yeah, irritated.
That I still push through and then I'm like, hey, I did do that. That is something I'm capable of.
That's right.
That's the whole idea around this genuine effort approach is to continuously trying to figure out what you're capable of and what you really want to address, whether it be physical or strength training. I mean, there's a numerous amount of different avenues. One of the things I want to talk about, we're getting ready to go into the genuine effort LLC.com, which is the website you go to, is that this is a private training facility. This isn't a public training facility. We haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah.
So it's really, when we go into individualized treatment or care, I should say, treatment's kind of my vein, but that is a little bit more, it's definitely when you say one-on-one, it's not a bunch of other people, or you get feedback in a gym, you don't have to worry about anybody else. It's literally one-on-one.
Right.
Of course, that's in person. And then online, if you were to utilize the services, you might be somewhere else in a public gym.
Right.
When you're here in Genuine Effort, it is private and it is very...
The important aspect behind the privacy of training is that I have people who are horribly out of shape.
Mm-hmm.
But if they've sought out my services, this is a place where we can be candid. We can speak frankly. We'll talk about everything from your bowel movements to how you groom and how you're sleeping. We talk about everything because I am a primary care physician. I don't want to just talk about, are you hurt? How was that? Did you get that? That's nonsense. We're here to take care of you, mind, body, and spirit, right? We have fellowship too. There's an aspect of the gym that I consider very much to be like a church. And that is, we're here to hold each other responsible and accountable, and we push each other. Can we be irreverent? Can we laugh and make fun and make mistakes? Absolutely, I will. But I want people to come here and enjoy the environment in their own privacy. We can have music, we can have rock, we can have Christian, we can have whatever music motivates you. Mm-hmm. In fact, you'll often hear me training to motivational lectures. You'll hear me train to just topics of AI, government. It doesn't matter. it's just as long as I have people focused in on and they're in an environment they're comfortable with, and they're in a place, at least mentally and physically, where I can dial in to concentrate.
Correct.
Other aspects to that are some people as beginners. I have some women clients that really don't want to be seen in public. I've had celebrities that we train after the gym closes. We've had people want to go in the back room to train it. It's fine. None of it's neither here nor there for me. Mine is, you pay me for a service, and as a physician, I'm going to pay for that service, right? And I just happen to be a trainer, and I just happen to be a physician. But the whole idea behind that is, you come here, you be comfortable. I will pull it out of you. I will pull it out of you. I've trained with past Olympians. I've trained with past top-notch bodybuilders that are probably, most of these guys are out of the game, but they're names you recognize. And I'm not going to flaunt all that, but I will say that the modern day trainers brag about having 10,000 clients and serve it doesn't interest me. In almost 40 years, I only have a couple hundred people under my belt, but those people have been served well, and I continue to serve well. So no, this is a new aspect. This new website is a new aspect of this, and I hope I can help other people and maybe bring up the next generation.
Correct. So I want to talk briefly a little bit about what the online portion is, because we've talked about the in-person, and obviously that's your really push, is to be able to at least see you occasionally in person.
Mm-hmm.
But for life and being in this century, Dr. Caldwell, online is the newest in understanding how to utilize those skills.
Technology live?
Yes. And there's still a lot of great benefits you get online. I mean, it's the same service. It's the same package. It's the same interaction. You're going to get individualized training aspects for whatever program you're utilizing. And you get to interact with Dr. Caldwell. There's a coaching app that we're using, which we looked at a few different ones, and the software we chose was True Coach, which I know is very well utilized because we did the research on it.
Yeah.
And it's user-friendly.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of ability to interact with Dr. Caldwell, checking in with your coach, and he'll be able to see if there's follow through with your training program and your plans and things of that nature. So you still get a lot of intentional care online. And I don't want that aspect lost. As we talk about in person, that's absolutely wonderful and great. But to life and individuals that maybe aren't in Newton or the Wichita area or in another state, you can absolutely still utilize these services and receive the same type of care at any time.
That's right. In the entire time I've been training people, I've only fired 2 clients. They were Hollywood types that wanted to have these really unrealistic goals in a very short time, and they want the magic ingredients and the silver bullet, and they want it all done in 3 weeks, and I can't do that. But when people sign up for this, I realize time, money, and effort go into this. I'm very affordable. The cost of what I do is is less than a cup of coffee, and I break that down for you. It is less than a cup of coffee. It's your notable.
So, in speaking of that, we're going to kind of go into the programs that the first one is the 90-day fitness training program.
Yeah. So I set it up on the 90-day. That's a 3-month. First of all, I really want to see new clients at least 3 times a week.
If you can do in person, but at
that's
least
right. That's
online,
in-person.
You will still have online option too.
But online, I'd really like people to sign up for at least 3 months. Mm-hmm. It's because I need time for you to develop good habits. And once or twice, it's okay. Once is definitely not okay. Twice is better. But 3, at least I'm being exposed to you enough to see how you train, and you're getting an opportunity to see what I want from you. The neat thing about 90 days is in 90 days, you've had the opportunity to go through this awkward first few weeks. This is an exercise. This is the training. It's all this effort. I really don't want to do this. You contact me and I'm going to go, "Atta boy, keep going. Atta girl, whatever, keep going." But in 90 days, you can see a huge change in your physique.
Absolutely.
Where you can see that. Mm-hmm. Liz has a really great story about her metamorphosis. Now, to Liz's credit, she lost almost 60 pounds in just over a year. I do things slow and controlled because I want things to last a very long time. But it's mostly about functional strength. I want people to have long lives and thrive through that. Why 90 days? Because in 90 days, you get to see, okay, this is the effort. I've gotten stronger. I'm starting to see results. Now, do I decide another 90 days? Or maybe let's extend this to 6 months. Ultimately, Liz, you and I talk about it's okay with us to work ourselves right out of a job. If I can teach you how to do things, I don't want to prescribe myself to you. I'm here for you to use my services just like chiropractic. Come to me when you need me. Always available. Always available. But I don't want you to need me forever. And that's what the 90 days, 6 months, and the 12-month programs allow you to do.
Sure.
Very affordably.
Right. So we're going to break down the 90-day
Sure.
really quickly. So it is a 12-week structured strength training process
Mhm.
that will be utilized through True Coach. Dr. Caldwell will go in and structure you a training program of your design that you both work on together as to what that's looking like, depending on what your goals are. You'll have access to a very large library that he will be providing those techniques and styles and how to utilize and do the exercise correctly.
Right. And touching on that, we'll build our own
We'll
build our own resume of our own specialized things that I want you to do so that we're activating the PEC correctly. We're activating the videos that are provided through True Coach. They're fine. They're for beginners. But there'll come a point where somebody will say, I'm not really getting what I want out of my incline press. I'm not really getting what I want out of my cable flies or dumbbell flies. Well, I'm going to teach you how to activate. I'm going to help you control your ranges of motion so that it's not just these flyaway reps and you're banging dumbbells together. We need to have everything under control. And for that reason, so if you want a specific video, I'll make you a video for just yourself and we'll keep it on log.
Well, one thing we haven't talked about this is your adaptive training ability that you'll be utilizing if individuals are working with any type of physical disability.
That's right.
Those will be, I would say, videos adapted to their needs for training purposes.
I come from a long career of engineers and people who are very mechanically minded. You and I attended a Kazon training.
Adaptive training.
Adaptive training. Yeah, we got certified in that. And this focus really has always been primarily based in service to our first responders, to all of our veterans, to people who have lost limb, lost ability, even paraplegic. This gym is wide open. It's built like that so that you can roll up to equipment. And if we don't have the equipment, I'll make it.
Correct.
But there's not a lot here, but there's everything we need. Liz has used equipment that I've made. I'm imaginative, and the whole point behind that is I can target things by using less conventional ways. But I appreciate you bringing that up because initially this gym was not made to make a profit. However, I just want to give back to the people who serve our country, and I really want to give back to the people who they want to exercise, they want to feel better, and they don't have the opportunity. They don't have there's not a handicapped gym. There's not. Either you can't get on the equipment or things don't accommodate. We'll figure that out here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another part of that process for the 90-day is that you'll be receiving resources to understanding how you track your food. And Dr. Caldwell come to speak more to where dietary pieces come in.
Right.
And that will be something, again, that you will design with Dr. Caldwell according to your
that's right.
diets or your any type of like if you're having adverse reactions to food, of things of that nature.
Sure, yeah.
And it's great, of course, for beginners or anyone that's kind of been in it for a year or more. I would say 20 plus years. I was in it out of gyms of different types of trying to do my own training style and track my own food and do those things. So this is a really helpful guide for people that maybe have done something like that and are looking to kind of really lock into something that brings out a lot more certainty than just the same old.
That is the nice aspect. I have combat training and I used to fight semi-professionally and all of those things left. Mostly just as you mature, I lost 50 pounds off my physique because I'm only 5'5". I don't need to carry around 200 and some pounds. I need to be leaner and more functional. I want other people to be leaner and more functional, unless it's your job. If you want to be a bodybuilder, if you want to be a strongman, and I work with strongmen too here in Kansas. If you want those things, I'll help you. If you want to be a powerlifter, I'll help you. But more importantly is the functional aspect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the functional
Absolutely.
aspect.
And so we're going to go into, like when Dr. Caldwell was saying it's a cup of coffee a day. Actually, it's less than a cup of coffee. You go to Starbucks.
Oh, you mean for cost? Yeah.
For cost, it's $4.80 a month, but that breaks down to $5.33 a day.
That's right.
So if we think about how often, including myself, and I'm sure you, Dr. Caldwell, that we're frivolous in not doing things that are taking care of ourselves or taking care of our body and our mind and our spirit, that we just, go and buy some junk food or spend money on something that makes me feel momentarily happy. This is work. This is going to be some effort to that $5.33 a day, but it would definitely, I know, overall pay off. For me, from a mental health standpoint, for anyone that I serve and the clients that I serve, it definitely is necessary.
Two fundamental things I ask people to do when we start training, especially people who need to lose or are looking to lose weight, is no late night dining, which includes eating out, and try to get at least 2 or 3 10-minute walks in. Stan Efferding made that
Sure.
kind of popular with his vertical dieting. But I want people to understand that when I teach people how to train, I teach them how to eat. You can follow my advice. It doesn't really matter. But more importantly, the money that you've thrown away on nasty meals, it's $20 to go to McDonald's. That's 4 days of training. If you want to do that, fine. I think it's a worthwhile replacement system. And remember, it's really hard to take a bad habit out of your life. It's better to replace that bad habit with something good. So if you want to spend $20, put $20 on the dash, put it on your desk, whatever. Don't buy coffees with it. Pay for some training. Go see some training. Go do something that you're learning, something that will make you better. And again,
Healthier.
you're gonna hear the rah coach part of me is that this takes work.
It's going to take work. It's going to take some genuine effort.
It doesn't have to be backbreaking. You don't have to be a big sweaty mess every time you come in here, but you got to put some effort for it. And all of the diseases that we see in today's life,
100%.
they're all 100% avoidable if we take care of our lives.
And one of the other benefits that you get in this, one of the opportunities in the 90-day is you get 3 one-on-one consultations with Dr. Caldwell that goes into more than just maybe fitness and around, hey, here's my intake and my diet. He can break down sugars and, of course, sugars and everything, but being able to structure that around your needs is really, really important because we all do it differently. We all have our different things. So,
and something I say too is the days go slow, but the years go fast. You'll be through 90 days of training in a blink, and you're going to want more, or that'll be enough. I don't really care, but I want you to know that I will constantly encourage you, not necessarily to see me, but always train. Always go do exercise. Well, my job's pretty physical. I get it. But even when I was building homes and working 50, 60-hour weeks, I still trained. It's the difference between, if you'll take care of yourself in the early years, it will carry you long, long into your later years.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about the intermediate level, which is the 6-month program.
That's right.
Now,
so 90 days is based on people who've never trained or have less than a year of training. Why do I pick that? It's because a lot of time is spent in instruction. You do get workouts. I call it your homework.
12 workouts.
Yeah, right. You get 12 workouts with me. You can work out all you want on your own. But what I'm saying is in those 12 workouts, you tell me what you want to train and we'll train that. I have people who walk through the door and we do full body workouts. But you know what? Sometimes I'll just go, what do you want to train today? I have people who want to get better at their bench. They want to get better at a squat. They want to have bigger arms. Fine. How's your arms? They feel good. Let's train arms. Let's crush arms. Because if I can get you to be really good at an exercise you really enjoy, it'll spill over into those exercises you don't really have a lot of passion with.
Right.
But the focus is be good at the things you're bad at, and you're great at the things you're really good at. And that's the whole point. I want men and women to have nice shoulders. I want them to have nice arms. They don't have to look like bodybuilders, but they have to be comfortable. And it's okay to hold your head up high and your shoulders back. You look good in clothes, you look good out of clothes, but you function well, right? You can bend over and pick up things without your head exploding or throwing your back out. It's important. It's really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So going into the 6-month intermediate level, and so this one's a little bit more, you get a little bit more opportunity. You get 9 personal coaching sessions. Now, this is including online and in-person, but kind of go hand in hand here. Now, there's also 3 online nutrition consults. Now, those are different than training. Those are going over nutrition. And maybe sometimes I know that people bring their blood panels and hormone panels, whatever, to Dr. Caldwell to review and say, hey, here's what I'm looking at.
I'll help you interpret your blood panels.
Correct. And so those consults are for nutrition could be over your body wellness or your or your food intake or whatever it may be. So those are a little different. So I wanted to point out the differences there. And then you're going to also get the nutrition planning guides, which are really important. Be able to understand why you're taking in the food that you're taking in, and what works. There's tons of diets out there right now. A
Yeah.
big one everyone is seeing, including myself, and I've utilized, as have you, the new keto evolving pieces around what you can do with cottage cheese, which is apparently
Yeah, it's the hottest cottage cheese right now.
And I will say, I've made the treats, and they're very
Berry
good.
ice cream and
Yeah, the blueberry
it's
ice cream is
crazy
pretty
good.
good, pretty good.
Crazy good.
But we also know, as you share, it's very high fat. It's very,
That's right.
it might be protein.
If you're on an all carnivore diet, the importance of understanding the aspects of different types of dietings is sometimes they do not mix well. So if you're on an all keto diet, you better be all 100% keto or you're not keto.
Right.
If you're on an all carnivore diet and then you flip out and have some kind of keto, just go crazy on some kind of keto dessert, better be careful there too. The impact isn't so much, but if you are really trying to stay keto and you get yourself into some place where you're eating like a 40-60 diet of carbohydrates and proteins, you're going to blow up like a balloon. You're going to have a real problem.
All of these, we're kind of glossing over each
Yeah, we can't cover
program.
everything.
So but you can go to the website and kind of learn a little bit more about what we're kind of speaking to there. Due to the intensity that we're stepping up to, of course, with every intensity, ironically, it is still only $5.33.
That's right. Math, isn't that crazy? It's still $5.33. Now you've signed for a 6-month contract.
Right. The 6-month contract looks a little different if I
That's
can
right.
speak there for a minute. So that's $690 a month, and then that is broken down into those monthly payments as well. And again, that $533, it just depends on how much intensity you're ready to give to your training program, which I think is why Dr. Caldwell calls it intermediate versus the beginners, because if you've had some training under your belt, you're more likely to be able to commit to this level of training. So that's why it's more intensified and it offers a lot more
Now
service.
you can step in as a complete novice to a 6-month program.
You sure can.
It's not a big deal. I think especially if you're new trainers, it's better to get your feet wet on something without the time, money, and effort. You don't want to commit to something expensive to your time, money, or time and effort. If your time and effort is, I don't have time and I'm going to miss a lot of sessions, don't do that. Get on a 90-day program, see how it works. If you can stay consistent, then you're going to make that jump. I'll always encourage you to train. You don't have to do it with me, but you need to get your training done. Right?
Correct.
And this is the next step.
Well, and understanding, yet again, I will tell you, the True Coach app will help you stay accountable because Dr. Caldwell will see, again, if you're maintaining what you agreed to. A lot of the things you'll go over is in your contract is like, the goal here is that you hold yourself accountable to what you're trying to really transform into. And Dr. Caldwell holds you accountable. That's the goal, is to be able to say, hey, nothing's happening. Well, you missed 4 of your sessions.
That's a good point, Liz. That's exactly right. I mentioned to you earlier that I've only let 2 people go in my entire career. I've only let 2 people go as clients. And their expectations were unrealistic. Their efforts were unrealistic. This has the opportunity for me to track you just like you're tracking your stuff. And if you come to me and say, this isn't working,
Correct.
I follow suit and I say, well, I know that you're not training. You didn't record this. You didn't record this. The accuracy in the way that I train is simply this. I can look through the door and tell you if you're eating right. I can tell if you're eating right. I'll tell within, and Liz, I've busted your chops more times. I can tell if she's missed breakfast. I can just tell. In the time frame that Liz has to train with me, we have maybe an hour to an hour and 15 minutes to train. We try to do it intensely, get as much stuff done. Without making her breakfast, she will fall off quickly, and it's evident. And I can see when a person walks through that door, whether they're following the guidelines. Now, it's your time, it's your money, it's your effort. If you want me to do like I always say and go, good job, you're doing great, see you tomorrow, we can continue that little facade for 20 years. You'll buy me a boat, send my grandchildren to college or whatever. But more importantly is get the most bang for the buck and then go enjoy life.
Well, a lot of, the reason why Anchored in Chaos became or can derive to where it's at is the understanding of individuals recognizing their mental and physical health. It's a mental and physical health podcast. And our accountability to that. That's something, without segueing away from where we're at today, societal, it's so easy to not, it's okay, I don't have to do it. Like, no, you have a core responsibility to this. If you want something to happen, you have to make something
That's right.
happen.
Caleb Blankenship. He was on your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You want something? Work for it.
That's right.
I'm not getting what I want. Work harder.
Work harder.
Yeah.
Work harder. And I know it sounds challenging.
Yeah.
But I would definitely encourage our viewers and listeners around Dr. Caldwell's insight is your encouragement has definitely kept me maintained. From the first month when I did not feel like I was having any success, I wanted to. And by the way,
Liz's talking, it was a great story and very accurate.
I paid double the fees for 1 month of training.
Let's wind back the clock. I was a director at the YMCA, and Liz saw me.
I wasn't going to actually throw all the
That's
YMCA
okay.
out there.
It's okay. No. I'm no fan of the YMCA and their training program, but I was a director. Liz sought me out. Liz was paying a lot.
Right. A significant amount than what
Yes.
is being reported here.
Yes.
But the point of that was I do not spend money frivolously, and I was going to try and follow through. But even when I wasn't receiving the successes that I thought I should be getting out of the training, Dr. Caldwell kept saying, give me 3 months, give me 3 months. And I was like, 3 months, this is a lot of money for 3 months.
Yeah.
And I felt like, but one thing I started noticing was my energy, was my clarity. And my body was feeling different, but I just wasn't. And I had to learn, and this is something Dr. Caldwell will go over with everyone, that scale is just a demon itself, that to stay away from the scale, he'd say, don't get on the scale, don't get on the scale, and get on the scale every single time.
Let's get a scale weight, see where you are in the beginning.
Right.
Fine. We're done with that thing for 90 days.
Right.
Because if we set a target, we'll see how close we get. But if you're recomping, if you're dropping fat and gaining lean muscle tissue, I am not expecting that scale to drop. I may see the scale go up. But your clothes will fit different. Your appearance will be different. Your energy will be different. How you do the exercise will be different. Later on, if you want to come to the scale, great. I think we're weighing clothing and bones and hair, and none of that is scientific. But the whole point is Liz learned that disappointed for 60 days, you bet. But in 90 days, when we started really plugging in food, her weight resumed. I mean, it was in a nosedive.
Yeah.
And she just started losing and shrinking really fast.
Well, one of the things I want to talk about, we'll go and finish up the last part of the programs. I told Dr. I'm no athlete. I'm not looking for muscles or six packs or any of that. And that was okay. He was like, okay, that's fine. I don't care what it is that I was reporting that I wouldn't do, really, is what I'm saying to him. But it takes so much, and Dr. Caldwell will go into this in detail with each individual. Your body has been operating in a certain fashion through the blood flow, through your muscle tone or lack thereof, for first off, maybe your whole lifetime. And now you're asking for a whole entire new system to come in. Well, that has to be built. That isn't overnight. And so the constant work, when I say cellular level building,
That's
a whole new process is not, and that's why I do get upset around a lot of the fads that go around. Like, you can do this in 60 days or 90 days and whatever, and you can get abs in 6 weeks. And it's like, okay, not so much. You have to understand our bodies are conditioned for such a long period of time to whatever state of function we're working at as mobility was. And then to go into a gym and have expectations, make sure they're reasonable. And that's why you have to give yourself some time, because you're changing your entire system at the very core of yourself. Yeah,
that's beautiful. And the neat thing about that is, with every single client who comes to see me, we speak about every one of these topics. We'll talk about anything you want. I can be your bartender, I can be your hairdresser, all that stuff. We'll get through the workout. But I want to know what's keeping you, what lit the fires, what keeps the fires burning. How can I help you keep those fires burning for training? And Robin, who's a really wonderful female client I have, she was in here last night training, and she was in a bad mood. And she was making excuses not to come, and I told her, no, you need to come.
She signed off rights to be able to be used, by the way.
Yeah, she did. Robin would let me do that. But anyway, she was in a bad mood, and she was on the treadmill, and she was in a bad mood. She goes, I'm in a bad mood. And I go, well, good. Be in a bad mood here. Mm-hmm. You want to go home and chew on your spouse? You want to overeat? You want to drown yourself in stupid video games? Don't. Come to the gym, go for a walk, be mad out there. Because while you burn up all that energy, those endorphins kick in, you got some adrenaline going, you feel good. And the times that you're most tired, the times that you don't want to train, that's the times you train. Mm-hmm. Those are the times you train. That's why it's so affordable. That's why we do this. So, right. And that's the goal is to be able to make it reasonable for individuals and understand what you're purchasing and how frivolous we are with our money. But this is something that
buy into you. I'm not trying to sound like a salesman, but really buy into you. It's so much more beneficial in the long term
Yeah,
because of how you feel.
people treat their pets better than they treat themselves, and that it's irritable. But the one thing I want to make sure people understand is I couldn't do this without Liz as my partner. She's made all this possible because I'm not a technology guy, and it's been my reluctance for all of these years, decades probably. I just don't know how to do this. Thanks, Liz. Liz has made all this possible for me, and now I get to just come kind of peddle my goods and put on a show and dance. It's not really, but I want to do all that I can to make people feel comfortable in what they do, and I want them to be happy and healthy. I don't care what kind of lifestyle you had. You can make a new one. It can start
That's the process, right?
one day or day one. That's, that's become kind of a famous thing, but let's start now. It's very affordable. And the more that we keep adding to these things is the longer your obligation that you're committing to.
Great. So the last program that you offer is, of course, your elite, I would say, program. I'm not sound rude
Yeah,
there.
it is.
And it's a year commitment. Now
Yeah.
that's significant in that you are committing to a year of your training. Ideally, you have it set up for people that's severely established or I would say really concrete in their regimen.
They have,
Again, you could be someone that's not had that kind of training, but just know the level of commitment that you're kind of stepping into.
Yeah, it like all things, you're buying into a package that provides a lot more services. You may not want to use that. You may have the disposable income to allow you, but more importantly, it's geared towards athletes who they either aspire to have a very healthy fitness life, or they maybe are competitive in some realm and they need something more than just some software that shows you how to exercises. They want to have a coach in pocket. They want to have somebody they can talk to. They want to have somebody they can call and chat with. They want somebody who can cue them on injury, recovery, and all that. By the way, we're going to talk about a feature that I offer called the Press Pause, where clients have the opportunity in either the 6-month or the 1-year program where they can press pause. They can literally halt their services for, what time did we give them? They can give them 30 days to.
We'll go into that a little bit.
Yeah. And the reason that press pause is interesting is if you buy a 6-month package and you end up being in a car wreck and I can't use my package, I'll press pause. I'll let you take the time to get yourself back on and resume as normal. Right?
It's jumping ahead of where we're supposed to be.
It is. Sorry, Liz. Sorry.
Yes. So back to the elite program, that is $5.59 a day. And it is
$5.59 a day?
Yes.
That's a deal.
It is really a deal.
It's a deal.
It's $69 a month. And it again goes into it's more detailed, more outlined. This is all the information, again, you can find on genuineeffortllc.com and learn all the nooks and crannies of each program and what they offer you. This goes over a lot more. It's more in depth around nutrition. It's a lot more intensive around your training too, because you're probably looking for a different outcome when you're committing to that year, I would imagine.
Right.
That's why you have set it up that way.
That's right.
Now, to pop on over to the push pause policy that Dr. Caldwell.
One of the features of both the 6-month and the 1-year training program is a press pause policy. It's the opportunity for people to halt their training, either to injury, accident,
right,
life. You need to take 30 days. All of those things allow you the opportunity to get back on your feet, figure out whichever you need to do. Your services just halt. And then you notify me. We'll get you back in the cycle, right? But you got to do that within 30 days.
So what's really beneficial about this policy is it's really a grace period for any individual that's life happens. I know that in my own practice, I talk to my clients about this. Life happens, things come up and we're not able to maybe make an appointment or make something. And when we're committed to a contractual understanding that I'm supposed to be following through with something, and it's like, I don't want to lose out on my money here, but some other things are happening in life. Well, the grace and compassion that I would hope we have as individuals that, you offer in this policy is that you have you get a push pause for up to 30 days. You get to have interaction with Dr. Caldwell as to what's going on, why this injury is happening, and you still maybe get some feedback as to how to take care of yourself and get recovered quicker. Because maybe you don't need the 30 days, maybe you need 2 weeks or whatever.
Well, a new baby, a new job, I lost my car, broke down. I don't know everybody's got problems. I know they do. But the interesting thing about that is when you come back, the aspect of your training may change completely. And how does that work? You got in an accident where we were in 4th gear, really cruising. Well, you got hurt, and now I've dislocated a shoulder. The remainder of your time may be rehab, and you can spin that with me. We'll figure out how to rehab that shoulder. We'll dial back all those exercises so we're focused on you take care of your body, but the exercises have now changed for your shoulder, a torn bicep, a torn pec, hamstring injury, groin injury. It happened all the time. I've been in sports my whole life. I've seen pretty much every incident and accident you can have. Let's figure this out. And by the way, I am not one of those people. I am not an athlete or a coach that would say, when I run, I get shin splints. The doctor says, give up running. No, I'm going to show you how to run. I'm going to show you how to run correctly where you're not pounding your legs. And we'll find an alternative so that you can do the exercise and the activity you like without hurting yourself.
Absolutely.
That's what that press pause is all about.
Yeah. And that's when I talk about the grace period, is that you're not charged for fees during that time. Mm-hmm. They will resume after those 30 days, but that gives you kind of an alleviation. Like I said, financially, if something else is going on, it's like, I can't really put the money towards this month. I need to do something else. There's, just that understanding that that's there and that's available. Now, to be full disclosure here, that is for the 6-month and the elite program. That is not for the 90 days.
It's not for the 90
because 90 days is such a small period of time that really doesn't kind of fit in with the parameters for that package.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. So 90 days around don't get hurt 90 days. That's what I'm going to tell you, but it happens all the time, and top tier athletes get hurt.
Sure.
Beginners occasionally get hurt. It's very, very infrequent. But I have people who have very physical jobs and they get hurt on the job moving heavy furniture or objects. They need a couple of days off. Fine. If that goes into 2 weeks or maybe surgery is needed, it could be a month. That's why I made that. That's why I put that in there. It's not unique to what I do, but it's more important that you guys get the most out of your time, money, and effort.
Right. Absolutely. So that just, in a nutshell, kind of bundles this up together and kind of went over the 3 programs that you will be offering. Go to genuineeffortllc.com, review the whole website. You have contact information there. If you're interested, send Dr. Caldwell an email just to inquire. Say, hey, I'm curious about this. This is what I'm looking for. There are going to be some updated parts of the website. And that is, there will be, if you're wanting to do an individualized, say if you want to just schedule a one-on-one training with Dr. Caldwell, you're not ready for a package, that is available. That is a scheduled consultation with Dr. Caldwell. And there's a fee associated with that you and Dr. Caldwell will go over. So even if you're not ready for, I don't know if I want the commitment of that, we'll come in and train, get a scheduled block and kind of go over, and he can share his services and his gym. And maybe you're able to kind of make a more defined decision after that.
Yeah, with that, and in closing, Liz, thanks very much for all of this stuff. I'm going to put out my phone number, which is 913-349-3436. That's Central Standard Time. I am only 15 minutes north of Wichita. The reason I even point out the location is top coaches in this world are everywhere, but they typically seem to focus where the most population is. So you don't have to travel to the West Coast. You don't have to travel to the East Coast or all the way down to Texas. I'm right here in the middle of the U.S. So I'm trying to draw in people from close by. Is it that I'm in competition with them? No. It's that people feel so desperate. There are people out there who feel a little desperate that they need to go see these top trainers. No, we've got top trainers right here in your backyard. There are good trainers out there. I have almost 40 years. I have a different way of training. Everybody who has trained with me will tell you that I train things differently. The reason I do is because I want people to look good, be strong, have functional, healthy lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yes, thanks.
You're very welcome. I would like to say, please go to now we have multiple social medias.
Yes.
So we have this full website. So, but in Group and Chaos on your Instagram and TikTok, you can find us there.
All platforms.
And all platforms.
Yeah.
Genuine Effort, you can do the same. It's on YouTube. We're everywhere. We're trying to get out there. We just want to help people. That's really our goal. That's always been our goal. And hopefully this is another stepping stone for Dr. Caldwell to engage with other people.
60 is not too old to start a new career.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Always make sure you're being mindful and taking care of yourself.
Yep. As always, I always ask people to take care of themselves, and I do mean it, because it's not just you. Others may depend on you. And if you just take care of yourself like you take care of your pets, we'll live a long, long time. So take care, guys. God bless. Thanks so much, Liz.
Thanks again.
Bye, guys.
This show is part of the ICT Podcast Network. For more information, visit ictpod.net.